Hi, it's Terry Doherty, and I'm talking to you today about a special American holiday, something that maybe not everyone would think of as a holiday, but the way we do it, it's pretty close. So, on we go. So, how can this be a holiday? Well, what's it take for a good holiday? It takes, well, excitement, it takes interest, it takes food, and what have we got for Election Day in America? All of that. Let's take a look. Americans love sports, particularly during holidays, but Americans love sports of all sorts. And whether it's football or basketball or baseball, there's always someone gathered around the TV or the computer watching the games and enjoying them. But the favorite game to watch that everyone watches is the elections. We all have usually one of two teams that we're pulling for, and it is quite a competitive event. The last dull and relatively uncontested election in the United States, well, that was in 1789. George Washington, virtually everyone in the country said, okay, George Washington, he can be president. No problems there. Everybody's for it. Easy. But a few years later, game on. It's 1800, and Washington has not even left the house yet, and already two great patriots, Jefferson and Adams, who were close friends, who joined together to write the Declaration of Independence, were extreme competitors for president in 1800 and thereafter. And both turned out to be excellent presidents, and both eventually had their opportunities, but only one can be chosen. And their support bases were different. The support for Jefferson was primarily from the South, and he was from Virginia, and he was one of a long line of Southern presidents. And Adams was from the North. He was from Massachusetts. He was involved in all those activities going on around Boston and later Philadelphia that brought about the revolution and the creation of the country. Both of them great men in their own way, but with a different view of the future. The next really big competitive event that we had, and we had some in between that were quite interesting, but the election of 1860, that was something else. This was an election in which we had two Democrats, one from the North, one from the South, a constitutional unionist, whatever that is, that one disappeared, and a brand new party called the Republicans, and they were primarily from the North. The winner was Abraham Lincoln, but the results were contested. The November playoffs. There's several different elections going on every 2 years. Sometimes there's a few in between, but basically there's a 2-year cycle to how the elections take place. And every 2 years, the House of Representatives, about 435 individuals, are elected by their different representative districts in each of the states across the United States. So this is the place of the most likely turmoil, the place in which policy can change the most rapidly. Every 4 years, there's a really big event. And of course, the House of Representatives is still up for election, but the presidents are up for election. And usually at least two parties are offering alternatives to the voter. And sometimes there's 3 or 4, because there are libertarian and green parties and socialist parties and other groups like that. But primarily, it's the Republicans and the Democrats every 4 years. And then we have this other group, the Senate, and you should be probably on the news hearing a fair amount about them because they're a pretty powerful group of individuals. They're elected for 6 years, and they have the ability to support the work of the House of Representatives or to stop it. And they can work with the president or against him. And all of those things happen. Now, they're not all actually elected in the same set of 6 years. So every 2 years, about a third of the senators go up for election. So that means that you can never completely change the Senate, but like in the coming election, if the Democrats get a few more votes, they may have a greater control of the Senate, or if the Republicans get a few more votes, they may have a greater control of the Senate. And that can be very important to the future of legislation and law in the United States. You will probably hear about the blue states and the red states. And this is something, these colors simply have to do with color TV. Before color TV, there were no blue states and there were no red states. There were just states. But with color TV, they had to come up with a way that made it easy for us to look at the TV and see who was winning. And red states are states in which the Republicans are winning. And blue states are states in which the Democrats are winning. Certain states tend to be to elect more Democrats. Certain states tend to elect more Republicans. But in any given year, any of these states could potentially go with either team. So, election day, play ball, have food. Always, it's a holiday, win or lose or draw, there's going to be food. So, enjoy the party at the end, enjoy the contest, we will.